My education started at a very young age, with me sitting on the lap of my paternal grandmother, where I learned to read the funnies, as she called the comic strips in the Chicago Sun-Times. I don't know that she was consciously trying to teach me to read, or if she was simply making it possible for her to read the funnies without interruption from me. Nevertheless, I learned to read with her and appreciate the fact that in her view, reading was important, regardless of what you were reading. I am certain that my maternal grandmother, on the other hand, was very intentional about education. She came to this country at the turn of the 20th century, arriving by boat from the Cape Verde Islands, which are just off the northwest coast of Africa, and were Portuguese territories until 1975. My grandmother could neither read nor write, and she spoke only Criollo, a Portuguese dialect. Yet she firmly believed that it was important for her children to be formally educated and to speak proper English. She sent them to school insisting that they speak only English while there and that they learn something new each day. When they returned home from school, she made sure they did their homework, even though she was unable to check it or help them with it. In fact, she would not really have known if they were doing their homework or something else, although my mother assures me that they were indeed doing what they were supposed to. My grandmother did the same for many of her grandchildren, whom she raised alongside her own children. I'm actually my grandmother's youngest grandchild. Most of the members of my generation of her family have college degrees. She was a formidable part of the village that helped my mother and her siblings raise me and my cousins. Her influence over our lives was enormous. For me, in addition to hearing the stories about growing up with her from my mother and her siblings, I spent summers with my grandmother. I loved her dearly and will always be grateful to her for instilling in our family and in me a thirst for and appreciation of lifelong learning, both formal and informal. Thanks to her, I have a passion for education and for helping others, as she so often did, to understand the value of education and the importance of preparing oneself to have choices in life and to be able to make informed decisions. She made it clear in her very special way that education was the key to our independence, to our future well-being. I'm also thankful for the many nuns who taught me during the first 12 years of my formal education in Catholic schools on the south side of Chicago, where I learned the basics of English grammar, history, geography, math, and science, and French. In addition to these basics, they taught me the importance of self-discipline, of mind and of body. Thanks to them, I was well prepared for the extraordinary experience of the 4 years I spent at Wellesley College, where I discovered myself and the joys of a liberal arts education, where my spark for continuous learning was truly ignited, and, perhaps more importantly, where I began to appreciate that with determination, hard work, and a liberal education in a supportive and encouraging environment, one can truly achieve anything.